Go ahead and gavel this meeting to order. If you'll, please all join me for the pledge allegiance. And Liz, would you lead us tonight?
Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Estella, could we please have roll call?
Mayor Pro Tem Scott Funk,
Present.
Councilmember Liz Silva,
Present.
Councilmember Lorraine Worthy,
Present.
Councilmember Maria Orozco. Present. And Chair Jose Rios.
Present. All right, moving on the agenda, we have comments from the public. Any member of the public may address the council for a period of 3 minutes. The council will listen to all communications, but will take no action nor make any comments. Anyone wishing to speak, please state your name and your address. Thank you.
Henry Martinez Jr., 116 10th Street. So I got the report back. And exactly not happy. You know, again, an officer gets off the hook. With no repercussions for what he does. I stayed quiet. I let the city do its part. But now, I'm not staying quiet anymore. This is completely wrong. You asked for help? No, he didn't do nothing. So now I'm gonna take actions into my own hands now, again. I went against several officers before and I'm doing it again today, and I'm gonna make sure he does not work on that school grounds anymore. How many other girls has gotta go through the same thing that he did to my daughter? And if the city's not gonna do anything, I'm gonna get the people together and we're gonna do something about it. But he will get removed from that school. I already got several of the videotapes that were out there. They're gonna be going up online. And I'm gonna be handing over everything to the news. This will not stay quiet. And shame, like I said, shame on you guys for letting this happen again. Several times, several people from this community keep getting mistreated by the police and nothing is done. Nothing. At what point is it gonna stop? My daughter's here today to speak on her behalf. Because you guys do nothing.
My name is May Martinez, 116 10th Street. I would like to speak on what happened in the bathroom. First, I think that's very inappropriate of a guy to even go in a girl's bathroom. Second, I think it was very, I just didn't even know why he was there in the first place. Like, I didn't know why he wanted to pick me up when I had no warrant, no pickup, court order, anything like that. So I don't even know why he would try to do that. Because I had no reason to go with him. He has no reason to come get me. That's the thing I don't understand. And another thing I don't understand is why is nobody not doing anything about it? And I also think that it's because the council and the police department have some type of beef with my parents that you guys don't want to do shit about it. And I think that's pretty crappy and shit of you guys to do that. So yeah.
April Martinez, 116 10th Street. I just want to say, this is BS. This has happened to many people, especially me, my family. My kids got taken away and for no reason at all. And so now one of the officers harassed my daughter in the bathroom. He got away with it, just like many other officers got away with stuff that they did to me too. And no, that happened to my daughter. I'm not gonna let this go. I'm coming after all the officers that I complained against. I'm gonna sue everybody. And now, you're letting this stuff happen to minors? Not cool. She's scared to go out in public in this town because of the officer. And you know what? Chief Wise, the captain, the other people that are supposed to be patrolling too, aren't doing nothing. Mendoza shouldn't even have even been promoted to captain, what he did. He has like how many complaints? And nothing happened. So I'm gonna reopen my complaints and reopen one against my daughter. And if nothing happens, I'm taking it elsewhere, out of this county. I'm going to the Superior Court.
My name is Henry Martinez III, address 116 10th Street. Today, what my parents done, I'm decided to join the army to show the police here that they're wrong. And I'm sick and tired of all this bullshit with these policemen. I'm sorry, chief and captain, but you guys are wrong. You lied to the judge so much, and you guys over here have done nothing about it. And so I'm joining the army to prove you guys wrong. And I demand respect for my family and my grandpa today after he got a ticket by one of your policemen that my grandpa told me with feedback said he stopped at the stop sign while your policeman was on his phone playing Candy Crush. Soon as he looked up, he thought that he ran the stop sign on our way home. And today he has a ticket here to tell you that story. Believe chief or Mendoza as well, all your policemen.
I came here to goat and gawk at the police chief because of today or Friday, the other part of the case went to the school. And strangers in town, there's your ex-mayor, 2 council members that were here when my daughter needed help when she was raped. No people were charged, no people served time. He left the county. And they're aware of it, that the chief of Gonzales at the time did not file complete papers for rape. He got off and went to Philadelphia. And that's the kind of police officers you guys want. He was assistant chief. Mendoza was corporal, sergeant. And you promoted them. Because I defended my daughter at the bathroom and posted it that the officers were there. Those officers are upset with me and gave me a ticket. Chief, thank you for legitimizing me. This legitimizes me that I am right, that I am being harassed. I'll pay this ticket just to say I got a ticket from the police department. You give me more power from this little paper. Thank you. I am not upset. Boy, you see that video, man, I was just laughing at your officer when he gave me this ticket. But this is the joke. I'm giving it to the person who's gonna handle my daughter's case. Here you go. Give it to your lawyer. Harassment. One of you. You seen them walk me out and violate my free speech when they drove me out and tried to arrest me. That one council meeting in November 2 years ago. And you did not stop them as a lawyer, as a city. You should be doing your job and tell them, hey, you're exceeding your rights and violating me, taking me out for no reason. No, yeah, go ahead and laugh. And it's funny. It is funny. I agree with you. It's funny on their part. Yeah, him too.
Excuse me, Mr. Martinez is speaking and he's got the podium.
Yeah, yeah. And then he knew about the false report of the headshots that we're supposed to shoot her and him and her because some lady said we're gonna shoot the council up. And they waited here. He locked the door behind us. It wasn't even a closed session meeting. And he waited for us to leave. And Miller came and sat behind us thinking he was gonna be the savior of the day.
Thank you, Henry. Sorry, 3 minutes are up. Is there any other member of the audience that wishes to speak for their 3 minutes on a subject not on the agenda? No one? Okay. Marisol, do we have anyone via Zoom?
No comments via Zoom.
Thank you. Stella, do we have any comments via email?
No comments via email.
Okay, then I'll go ahead and close the public session of the council agenda, and we'll move on to the consent agenda. If you've had an opportunity to review that consent agenda, items, I believe it'll 3 through 11. And if no one has any questions or concerns, then I'll entertain a motion for either approval or disapproval, or to pull an item.
I move that we approve the consent agenda items 3 through 11.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, we're gonna move on to the regular agenda items. And Ms. Silva, would you be so kind as to read the first one? It's kind of long-winded and I've been doing this. Good days and bad days. Like when I came, I could see it, and when the meeting started, all of a sudden it blurred out. I don't know.
Do I have to go to the page 51 and read it, or can I read it from the
You
agenda?
can read it from the agenda.
Thank you.
We just need it for public record.
Regular agenda item number 12 tonight.
Yes.
Authorize execution of a non-exclusive master services agreement between the city of Gonzales and MNS Engineers, and approve execution of task order 1 for program management services in the amount of $200,000, and authorize execution of a non-exclusive master services agreement between the city of Gonzales and SOMAS, and approve execution of task order 1 for technical services in the amount of $50,000 to support the expansion of the wastewater system.
Staff report?
Yeah.
Oh, Mr.
Mayor Rios, council members. This is another step along the way to expand and improve the city's wastewater system. As mentioned in the staff report, the city will expand the wastewater system through several steps that are outlined, and I'm just going to highlight the first 2. One is step 1, which is construct the industrial wastewater system. We'll do that under 3 contracts. Construct the pipeline. Then in parallel with that, construct the industrial wastewater treatment facility. This is on property that the city owns just east of the existing wastewater treatment plant. The third contract is the pipeline will go whatever in about 6 to 8 months. Treatment facility is about a 12 to 14-month process. We're going to use the gap in between those 2 to rehabilitate the existing wastewater trunk main that's been out there since 1980. We did some video and cleaning of it, inspection 7 or 8 years ago. We know that there's work to be done on the manholes and other parts of that. So we'll be shifting all the wastewater flows to the new pipeline, which will allow us to work on the existing pipeline. This is our opportunity in time to do that. As the council's aware, the industrial wastewater system is fully designed. We completed that. I think it's 2+ years ago. CEQA, we're ready to go. Over the last 2 years, the city pursued, and we are nearly there with a $30 million loan from the state of California, the state revolving fund loan. We should see that agreement in the next 1 to 2 months. And what's important is that this is the point in time where we should go out to bid with the pipeline and the treatment facility. So when we complete let's see, step 2 is when we complete the industrial wastewater system, we're going to be shifting on the order of 900,000 gallons a day of the egg processed water from Taylor, Braga, Del Monte to the new industrial wastewater treatment facility. That'll allow us to rehabilitate and improve the treatment process for the existing municipal wastewater treatment plant. We'll be taking there's two trains where the wastewater flows through the two different treatment trains for the treatment process, and typically that's a 2-month process to treat the wastewater, and then it goes into the disposal fields. We'll be using one of those treatment trains, and we'll be rehabilitating and working in the one that is empty. And then when we complete that one train, we'll be flipping over to the other train. So that's the steps needed to rehabilitate and be able to comply with the regional board permit that we received about a year ago. So a program of this magnitude and complexity, staff needs the support of consultant help. There's a lot of moving parts on this, a lot of tracking, and we want to expedite this to the greatest degree we can, because this will provide the wastewater capacity for industrial and residential development. So in January, I prepared a request for qualifications to bring on a consultant to serve as program manager, construction manager for the industrial wastewater system and other efforts around the wastewater system. So on January 30th, I issued the request for qualifications that was emailed to 10 consultants. We had a pre-proposal meeting, and by the February 29th deadline, I had received 4 packages for statement of qualifications. We reviewed these 4 SOQs, and the recommendation, as you heard and is in the staff report, is engage MNS engineers for the program management, construction management contract, and then also have a technical support contract with SOMAS so they can continue to work on the pre-treatment program and other aspects to basically support our wastewater system improvements and get us into compliance with the regional board permit. So therefore, and in conclusion, as already read by Council Member Silva, we recommend that the City Council authorize a master service agreement with M&S engineers, approve execution of task order 1, program management services, in the amount of $200,000. And then the second agreement is a master service agreement with SOMAS, approve that execution of task order 1 for technical support services in the amount of $50,000. That concludes my presentation.
Questions for staff before go ahead, Ms. Silva?
Patrick, will those repairs, how do I want to phrase this? Will they be concurrent with the expected expansion needs that the city will have for our growth? Will
Yes.
they be done concurrently? Thank
Well,
you.
the steps that are presented in the staff report lay out how we will bring on the industrial wastewater
Right.
system, work on the existing plant, including a new treatment process so that we can meet the original board permit. And there's additional steps beyond that. And for instance is the industrial wastewater system as designed, it's going to be phased. And so the first phase is 1 million gallons a day. The pipeline and the site is sized and laid out upwards of 3.5 million gallons a day. And so we'll be building the first phase, and it'll be interesting to see how long or how quickly this will allow Braga, Del Monte, and Taylor to expand. And we'll be out there digging more ponds and disposal fields. But the pipe is sized for it, the site is sized for it. Yes, these are the steps to industrial growth and the residential growth.
And the expansion or the wastewater treatment plant, the timeline is about 18 to 24 months or so, give or take.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
That's what I thought I read in the report. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Any other questions from council? Because I have one, but I'll wait. No? Patrick, thank you very much for the report. It's very concise and to the point, and the reason why you needed both engineers, I understand now. The question that I have is, we're gonna need to go across many fields to get there. I believe the majority of those fields are owned by the Del Rio company. Am I assuming, or does staff already have an agreement that they will allow us to go through there? I know there's an easement, But of course, you know, if you have product in the ground and you're gonna make money on it, you're not gonna really like someone coming in
Right.
with backhoes and tractors ripping up fields that might have some very valuable product on it. Hopefully not Brussels sprouts. I mean, they're expensive. I can't believe how expensive Brussels sprouts.
So we've prepared the easements. They've not been presented to the property owner. We are going down Furman Lane where the 21-inch is. Yes, we will need, when we build it, we will need about a 50-foot swath, and that'll take out some fields on the edge of production. And we want to be mindful of, all right, so what time of year is that? Communicate so they don't plant something that we have to take out. I met with John Paini, our realtor appraiser a couple of weeks ago on this. Yeah, this is absolutely a priority to get the easements in place. So they've been prepared, but they haven't been presented.
Okay. How soon do you anticipate those being presented? Because, I mean, this could all be derailed for a while if DeRio wants to dig his heels in.
Understood. And, you know, in the next 30 days, we're going to be presenting these.
Okay, I'd like a staff follow-up on that because I definitely
Very
would
good.
want to keep in touch with, make sure that, you know, we don't ruffle any feathers and we get those easements.
Okay.
Okay.
Will do.
And
Thank
if I can just add, so the item before you is actually ahead of the game too, because this gets us ready so that when we receive the actual agreement as of the SRF loan, we're ready to go.
Right.
So this gets us there to the green light.
I get that, but I'm also hoping that we're able to work along with that and hopefully have that all come together at one time. Okay, because it'd be a shame to agree to all this money and then just have till we get that final agreement from the DeRigo company. All right, I'll go ahead and open this up to the public. Anyone on the public wishing to speak on this item may do so now.
All right, Henry Martinez Jr. That's the exact questions I've had with it, you just answered. Yeah, you're gonna bring in heavy machinery through fields, possibly contaminating those fields. And let alone, we are not in a good place with DeRigo. We screwed them over, what is it, hundreds of thousands of dollars on the last deal that we had with them. And so. And also, I was looking at this. Who's paying for all this stuff? The current residents here for the expansion for the new side? I'm well looking at this. I'm looking at to a 2.5 million with 2 additional unknowns at the time. That's a lot of money. And I think those costs should go to the new people before you even try to come out of our pockets here. That's just way too much for an expansion for future residents. You know, these are hard times now. We all don't have that much money laying around. And to be throwing out that kind of money, I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't know about this. Because I'm pretty sure you're gonna pass those on to us. And we have already started seeing what? The increases in the water bills and the garbage and everything? Yeah. I mean, this should be more public than anything else.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Anyone else wishing to speak on this item? Yeah.
Hello,
Oh, Mr. Martinez.
longtime resident Henry Martinez, born here, raised here, lived in a 1-bedroom house. And we paid our dues. We paid for expansions so many times. And thank God, I think next year is district voting.
Sir.
Yeah. And hopefully, when we pick the right person from north side, that they will understand that we've been here since the beginning. We paid for the expansion. We paid for the expansions across the freeway. You guys gotta stop looking at us. That's what I'm gonna tell the person that runs for our district, that we are old timers. We paid our share. It's time for you to start socking these other companies more money for what you're charging them now. charge them what it costs to put it into them. And if not, cut it up to the next company comes in and they pay their portion. You know, stop looking at us. I'm hoping our District 4 person, whoever it is, will understand our needs. Because you guys do not walk our side of town. You don't talk to the tenants. They're crying that the rents are expensive. And I told them, don't blame me, blame the 5 people on the council. They're raising property taxes. Blame the school, they're raising property taxes. You know, and then homeowners too, they can't pay all the bills. So, you know, I hope next year I'll support whoever's the anti-cop and paying for other stuff that we already paid. How many times? I don't remember. I remember the 80s when he had black hair. That's the one time that they screwed us over too for the expansions. You know, start charging them more. $5,000 to a hookup, charge them 10, 15,000. Those are new residents. And they can afford the new houses, they can afford to pay more money. You need to sock them more at them, not the people that are already here. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? No? Marisol, do we have anyone via Zoom?
No comments via Zoom.
Okay. Stella, or do we have anyone via email?
No comments via email.
Okay, then I'll go ahead and close the public comment period and bring it back to council for any further discussion. But I would like to quickly address Mr. Martinez. I agree that we on this side and basically anyone that's living in Gonzales has paid quite a bit for, services. But I can tell you, I bought an old house and in that time I, had to replace windows, right? We did the plumbing and I kind of thought, okay, windows, plumbing, I'm good. Well, guess what happened this year, sir? With all the rain, my wife says, my bathroom is leaking. I'm like, things get worn out. And, new state laws, we have to follow that. We have to provide clean water that's been treated. So all that's already doing it. They're taking their water, their clean water and watering their parks. I mean, we live in California. It's a great paradise, but we're leaders for a reason. We have clean energy, we have clean water. And I would hope that you would embrace that and say, yep, well, state law, we have to kind of do some of this. And part of that is we also are hoping that when we do these expansions, that we're also going to hopefully, quote unquote, get more business. I mean, Man's already indicated that as soon as we've got the capacity, they're looking at doubling the size of the facility. So hopefully your grandson comes back as a bookkeeper or maybe becomes a manager at the plant once he does his service in the Army. And by the way, young man, I applaud you for that. I don't think they'd take me. I'm kind of flat-footed and blind, so I'm not sure they'd hand me a rifle. But we thank you and appreciate you're already thinking that forward about, what your future is. Not a whole lot of young people think that far out. Certainly when I was a senior in high school, my thought was, well, I guess I'll go work where my mom or dad worked and never thought about going to college. Luckily, I had a good counselor. But again, thank you for your comments. But like I said, as much as we'd like to say that plant's going to run forever after we do all these repairs, hopefully by the next time that we need to do more, I'll be 6 feet underground. So I'll let my grandsons worry about that. But thank you for your comments. Bringing it back to council for any further discussions or comments, I welcome that.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I'll make the motion that we authorize execution of the agreements with MNS Engineers and SOMAS and and approve task orders 1.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Liz, I tried with my glasses and I'm still not seeing
That's
anything.
okay.
I apologize. I should have memorized these because I thought, anyway,
That's okay.
I saw a short agenda and I thought, easy.
Tonight's item 13 on our regular agenda, introduce, waive first reading and read by title only ordinance number 2024-142, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Gonzales, California, amending chapter 4.56 taxi cabs of Title IV, Business and License Regulations of the City, Gonzales City Code.
Staff report?
Mayor Tavin, is on Zoom and will.
Well,
Tavin, can you hear us?
I can hear you very well. How am I coming across?
Item.
Am I coming across?
yes, you
Can
are.
hear you.
Okay,
Look
great.
well.
Thank you. Yes, Tavin Kinnison Brown with the Community Development Department. Thank you. This ordinance is a simple way to disencumber local government permitting processes to encourage taxi cab service to the city of Gonzales. Many of the cities individually have a lengthy and strenuous permitting process that, you know, reviews and vets the person, the vehicle, and is pretty cumbersome and involves inspections from each of the police departments in each of the cities. And what this ordinance does is it recognizes that the Monterey County Regional Transit Taxi Authority, as administered through the city of Monterey, does a pretty good job of vetting the drivers, the vehicles, and basically kind of issuing the certificate that they're qualified to operate a cab. So this ordinance is a simple way to recognize that credential. So simply, a taxi driver could present the credential that they've cleared through Monterey County Regional Transit Authority, obtain a city business license, and begin service in the city of Gonzales. And, you know, there have been transit vouchers even available to our citizens in our community, but they haven't had the cabs, haven't had the rides here to use those vouchers. This ordinance should change that. So much of the ordinance regarding taxi cabs is staying in place, but it would appear that there's interest in even today, you know, from Yellow Cab called and wanted to know our processes. And so the thinking is if we can disencumber some of the governmental processes and certainly not have a unique experience for one company in 4 different jurisdictions, that they kind of get permitted once, that maybe that's good enough to go into business. So this will be, thank you, Councilwoman, for reading the title. But this should be a way to welcome those taxi services to the city. And with that, Attorney Rodriguez, did you have anything to add before we take this? We're going to publish a public notice for April 1st, I believe.
Yeah, that was the thing that I was just gonna mention, that there'll be a public hearing, a notice public hearing when it's brought back for actual final action. Tonight's just the introduction and the waiver of reading of the entire ordinance into the record.
Great.
So staff has nothing further to add, but we can respond to questions should you have them.
Turn
Turn your microphone.
turn your microphone.
MST has also been involved in this, so I also want to mention that because MST is always trying to figure out different ways that we can get transportation to different people, and especially in South County, taxi cabs are something we've been talking about for a while. So I just wanted to mention that as well. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from?
I just would like to echo what Lorraine said. You know, I meet with a lot of seniors who have challenges in trying to get to their doctor's appointments. You know, they have their adult children who work in ag and can't take an hour or 2 off work to take them to their appointments. They rely on others to take them, and it's always a challenge. So I'm really glad that we're going to be able to provide this service. So thank you.
Amen to that. All right, I'll go ahead and open this up to the public. Anyone from the public wishing to speak on this item may do so at this point.
So now question. Does this also apply to your Ubers and Lyft drivers that you already got in town?
No. It's a separate deal on that.
Okay, because this is basically just adding more public transportation, right?
Hopefully,
And then
that's the intent.
also, wasn't Amtrak talking about doing something on the railways here? An expansion to the current services?
I'm on Tamsi, and as far as I am aware, about the only expansion they've talked about is the Salinas area, so basically creating Caltrade to come down all the way to Salinas. That's been at the transportation.
I think that's the
agency.
same one that was supposed to go all the way straight to King City.
There's been talk about it. King City got some grants for that, but it's gonna be a challenge enough just to get it to Salinas. That's my opinion.
I mean, hopefully we can get a stop here in Gonzales, will alleviate a lot of the stuff.
That would be nice. Anyone else?
Yeah, I just noticed I'm bald.
Club.
Yeah, we're getting old, okay, and
Yeah.
pretty soon, I might be giving up my license of driving, and then I'm gonna need to somehow get her across town, you know. Especially if you guys are gonna put stores across that way on the new section, and it may be something I want from over there, but then I'm not gonna have to take a taxi that way, so good job on this. I think it's a great idea. And we've been hoping for years that they'll have just a train for the valley. And it can go all the way to Monterey. It has the tracks. And you know, I don't know why they're not pushing it. Hourly trains or 2-hour trains back and forth the whole valley would be nice too.
Anyone else? See no one else rushing the podium. I'll go ahead and ask Marisol, do we have anybody via Zoom?
No comments via Zoom.
Okay. Estela, any comments via email?
No comments via
Okay.
email.
Then I'll go ahead and close the public meeting and bring it back to council for any further discussion or action.
Do we just?
Oh, it's just a reading only. My apologies. So
So you
There is
vote on it.
I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
No, there is need for an action, so the motion should be to
Introduce.
introduce, waive
And we
reading,
vote on it.
read by title
Okay.
only.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we introduce, waive first reading and read by title only ordinance number 2024-142 as stated.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Next item on the agenda is the Gonzales Youth Council updates.
Good evening, Council. Luke here. And just a couple updates for the GYC today. Part of the GYC the other Thursday met with Miss Alejandra Flores in City Hall regarding our tenant and housing project. This project is about, I've mentioned it before, where the GYC wants the renters and tenants of Gonzales to be more aware of their rights, what landlords should and shouldn't do, what they should and shouldn't provide, all that kind of stuff. And we met with Miss Alejandra, and our idea for this project is to distribute pamphlets that basically just have general renter right information and any helpful information that they could use for their living spaces. When we met with her, we also had an idea to conduct a survey to kind of see like what the renters of Gonzales do and don't know. So what we're planning to do is that we're going to formulate about a couple of survey questions just to kind of get a general idea to see what they already know. We're planning to send it out in April's utility bill that the city sends out every month so we can get some responses. And based off of those responses, we're gonna kind of formulate what they already know and what we should include in that pamphlet. And we're hoping to get that sent out we're gonna send out the questions on Thursday so that they can be reviewed for the next billing cycle. So you should see them in your next utility bill. Another project, our mental health project, an update for that is that we met with Dr. Lavelle, the psychologist that we've been working with for a couple of years. And we decided we're gonna conduct another survey. If you remember in the past, we conducted a couple surveys for the students to see how they were feeling after COVID and what their work life, their school life was all was all about when they had returned to school. This year it's gonna be focused on the parents and how their lives have been after COVID and, you know, helping their kid get through school and kind of being a teacher themselves. So we're gonna do more action on that, but it will be focused more on the parents. And we plan to present this information to the school board. I don't have an exact date when, but Aaliyah would have more information on this because she's a lead on that project, but we are still moving forward with the mental health project. Another update is that Monica Rico had recently met with us, and I believe that she will be hosting the annual 5K run that the city does every year. And she had met with us to propose an opportunity if we wanted to help run the event, because she said that she specifically why the reason she wanted to help us to run the event, because it's going to be centered around mental health. And the GYC, you know, has a lot of experience in that area, and the 5K run is going to be like promoted to a lot of young people, to a young audience, and that's kind of like who we also want running at the program. So she kind of asked us for ideas to kind of help run the event, what kind of activities we would want, music, any food, any venues we would want, that kind of stuff. And so we're gonna meet next week just to kind of talk a little bit about that, to see what ideas we can get formulated for that. And a last update is that the GHS Mental Health Conference will be held this Saturday, and the GYC will be having their own workshop there. It'll be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The school is hosting it, but you know, GYC along is also helping with the type building that they'll have there. And you should see us at about 12, I think, once all the venues start. But we will be there, and we do also encourage everyone to go, because everyone should be informed on what mental health is, and this is the first time that the district is hosting an event like this. So we want to see a lot of participation and a lot of people going, so we can have more events like this in the future. But yeah, that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
No, sorry, Henry, I'm sorry, it's. Can you do it after the meeting? Sorry, because we want to keep this thing going, and it's right now, if council has questions for him, that's about really who can speak to him. Any questions from council for Mr. Nagel?
Just, is it gonna be held at the library, or where will it be held?
It's gonna
Various
be held
classes?
at the high school. So it's gonna start in the gym. They'll have like a morning like conference introductions. And then from there, they'll have like in the quad, there'll be many stands, and I think they'll also be having like sessions in classrooms. So it'll be located in the high school.
Great.
You said 10 and 2?
Sorry?
10 and 2?
10 to 2, yes.
Thanks.
Any other
Thank you.
comments or questions for him?
Yeah, for sure.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you very much, Mr. Nagel. We'll move on to council committees. And the first one is League of Cities. I have nothing to report. Next is AMBAG.
And everything was informational this week, so nothing to report.
Okay. And finally, we have MST.
Okay, just a couple things. I know that Mrs. Rodriguez wanted some information about shelters. And we have approved 19 bus stop shelters. So we are going to be purchasing those, and hopefully very soon Gonzalez will get a shelter over in the Meyer Park area, which is a really great thing. That's something we've been talking about. Rosa has been asking about that for a while, so I wish she was here tonight so we could tell her. There was an issue brought up by Alliance on Aging, asking for a continuation of a program for bus passes for seniors. This is something Maria had asked about also. So we approved a 50% discount on the purchase of these bus passes. In addition to that, we will be going to TAMSI to ask TAMSI if we can also have an additional discount, because in the past they were free. And unfortunately, we can't do that at this time, but we're hoping that between TAMSI and MST, we're going to be able to distribute these bus passes. I asked the question the other day of how many people in our senior community in Monterey County are looking for passes. It's about 400 people. That's quite a few. Yeah. So that was one of the areas that we talked about. Obviously, an update on the Better Bus Network, and I was gonna ask, I know I had talked to Carmen already about this. Our MST circulators, they're gonna be doing a presentation, I believe, in April. Is that correct, Patrick? April 1st. So we'll have an update on that. And there is an extension that we approved on bus passes at a discount for students. So that will continue as well. So that's where we're at. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to oral communications, and I know you just finished, but do you have any comments on your oral communication?
One thing that I just wanted to bring up, because I think it's pretty important. A couple of years ago, I tried to go into our schools through the American Legion Auxiliary to do some different programs, and I was able to succeed in a couple of the programs this year. The first one was distributing American flags to every classroom at La Gloria School. Well, I opened it up to do an essay contest at Fairview and Gonzales High School. I got 19 applications from Fairview, which is really exciting. It was "What does freedom mean to me" was the topic, and we got some pretty impressive essays, which is exciting. We were able to select our top ones. And they will move on to the department, which in the state of California, and they will win an additional award. We made the decision here at our unit in Gonzales to award 3 different first, second, and third. Those folks still don't know who they are, so I don't want to bring it up yet. But that's pretty exciting that we were able to go into the schools and talk to the kids about that. So anyway, that's exciting. Thank you to Candace Camacho. She helped me with the teachers at Fairview especially. And I hope that next year, because of our 8th graders that were involved, that they will move on and tell their friends when they see that they win awards for doing this, that maybe the high school will participate a little more. I did get a high school person, but they were not from here. They were only from our unit. So that was exciting. And I also wanted to bring up our community garden. I just want to bring it up because it was so fun to watch all the kids out there working and all of the staff working. And I was able to kind of go by, Councilmember Silva and I were both out there last Friday to just kind of take a look and see how things were looking and where the water was going. And it's just really exciting, and I hope that all of Gonzales will benefit from this as we move forward on it. So that's what I have. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ms. Silva.
And I'm gonna dovetail on the community garden. I wanted to thank all the people who helped make it possible. They include our public works staff, our regular staff in the offices, Blue Zone Project, the Olinga Wings of Knowledge, CSUMB students, and Lowe's for a lot of donated, I think, plants and seeds. It was a lot of fun to see.
And Save the Whales.
Oh, and Save the Whales. I didn't get to meet her. I'm sorry. Save the Whales. It's exciting. There's some fruit trees in the corner. It's over by the swimming pool. For those that don't know, take a walk over there. It's very interesting. As Lorraine mentioned, we were there Friday, and Vahid from Olinga was there. And we noticed that probably some plants were not put in the proper place. Maybe the soil was too hot. I don't know, because some of them were starting to dry up. And it's probably because the soil is hot. And, but it's a learning process, and we're not there to judge. We're all there to learn and to enjoy. And one of the things we noticed was there needed to be a Y for the water, because they have a drip system there. It's already in place. It's going to be watered. Even if we're asleep, it'll still get watered. But we also needed a connection for a regular water hose in case we needed to water some of the plants that were planted along the walkways. And there are seeds that the children were tossing into that. So if you start seeing wildflowers, it's because the kids were like Johnny Appleseed going down the pathways. And again, it was a lot of fun to be out there and be a part of the process, just watching it all happen. So thank you to everybody for making it all happen. Last Friday, I was thrilled to be able to read to some of the students at La Gloria Elementary School. It was called Read Across America. I read to Mrs. Mickelson's TK class and Mrs. Marcus's kindergarten class, 2 different classes, 2 different books. A lot of energy. I wish we could bottle up and save it. Those kids were amazing. And when I told them I was there in 1961, they looked at me like 19. They didn't comprehend. It was really a lot of fun to see them and get their feedback. I mean, they have a lot of stuff to say. And they were following the story, but they wanted to ask different questions. One little boy in particular only spoke Spanish, so hopefully he's going to be learning his English with, in a very short time, but he had a lot of questions, so it was fun. It was fun at the end of the day. Want to remind everybody that this Thursday, the 21st, is the monthly Adventure Seeking Senior Lunch at St. Theodore's Parish Hall. Starts at 11 a.m. It's always a lot of fun for those of us that can get together and visit with a lot of our friends that we don't get to see too often, except for at least once a month. And Jean Salcido and her group do an amazing job there. And besides, they feed about 120 to 140 there in the hall. They also provide lunches to those that are homebound, and that's about another 80 lunches. So kudos for them. They do receive the grant money through Measure K, and they do an awesome job. Finally, a reminder, spring break is coming up. It's not the traditional week that we used to see when I was a kid. It starts on March 28th and it runs through April 7th. So just be mindful of the children who might be out and about on bicycles, especially if the weather keeps up as nice as it has been. And that includes pedestrians, it includes bicycles, skateboards, scooters, you name it, they'll be out and about, especially if the weather's nice. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Funk?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. And actually piggyback on that, yeah, thank you very much to staff and all the community came out for the community garden. Did have a chance to go over there earlier this afternoon and it's come along great. It looks awesome. So keep it that, Mr. Mayor.
That's it, sir?
Yep, that's
Okay.
it.
Ms. Orozco?
Thank you. I'm really glad to hear about the essays that were done by the students, Lorraine. And I know at our Rotary meeting today, we talked a little bit about some of the activities for the 4th of July, but that would be a good, perhaps if it's possible to have them, available or to be present or somehow get them engaged on that day. So we'll connect later, but that's a great idea. I also wanted to mention that this Friday is our last Lenten dinner at St. Peter's Church from 5 to 7. So come by and have I believe it's shrimp chow mein. So it should be good. And an April and white rice. Yes, thank you. And also our reverse draw is going to be held this year a little bit earlier. It'll be June the 14th, and we have an early bird special on the reverse draw ticket. So if anybody's interested, you can see myself or Liz. We both have tickets for that. I also wanted to mention, I was hoping that they would be here today to share their concern about, this is a gentleman and his wife who live near the park regarding the hours of operation for our restrooms. And it seems like the restrooms are now being locked up, earlier than before, and maybe due to the time change. And there's still people who are still at the park and using, the recreational activities, and also the young men who are playing volleyball. So if that's something that we can maybe look into, the hours of the restrooms and when they're locked. I know they're locked now electronically. So just something to think about, because there's been some concern about, the need for them to be opened a little bit longer. And that's all I have. Thank you.
I have just a couple items. First of all, I'd like to get an update for Mr. Dobbins regarding the no semis on Fifth Street, the signage, and when that's going to go up. Especially with the vacation week coming up, there's going to be a lot of young kids walking back and forth. And the last thing I want to see is a fatality out there. And if we can get those big semi trucks that block a lot of view, that'd be great. And I know the signage will work. So I'd like an update at the next council meeting on that, sir. So if you could put that. Okay. Then again, I want to thank all the staff that worked on that garden. My son came down to visit and he said, "I came to visit you. I didn't come to build a garden." I said, "Oh, it's part of Gonzales, you know? And then once he was there, he actually enjoyed it quite a bit. And he realized, how we're always innovating and thinking outside the box of things to do for our little community. And he says, you know what, Pops, this is what makes it home. And I said, exactly, my son. But again, thank you to staff and all your efforts and work. I know Carmen had all her little people out there working away, and even your mom, right? Wow. Oh, that was easy. I do that all the time. And then finally, just, I want to let you know that Mr. Harmonosco called me, and one of the things he is been trying to do, and then he commented that it would make a huge difference if council members committed some money towards the community center. I spoke with my wife earlier today, and I says, can we? And she's like, well, okay, if that's what you want to do. I says, yes, that's what I would like to do. So my commitment is going to be a check for $10,000 to the Monterey Community Foundation. It's a 501c3, so technically it could be a potential tax write-off. Potential, I say that because, you know, there's always looking for ways to take the money away from Uncle Sam and keep it in my pocket or our town. And if I can do that, I mean, my wife and I are also hoping that in the near future, when we come to the last phase, which is the gymnasium, we've talked about it and we've agreed that we are going to get rid of some assets and make a substantial contribution towards that effort. You know, you come to this world, I mean, you come to this world naked and you leave it the same way, pretty much. I mean, once you're dead, you don't know what kind of clothes they put on you. And that's what I even told my wife. I don't want a suit and tie. Leave me in my jeans and my regular shirts. She goes, but why? I said, why burn up a good suit? Anyway, that's my 2 cents. But like I said, that's our hope in the near future. And I'm really hoping that we get to that final phase and we can make that contribution to our community because this has been our town. I unfortunately, Luke, will not be able to make that session on Saturday. It's our 39th wedding anniversary. So I've run out of things to do for her, you know? So we're taking a trip to Cambria because she loves Cambria. And, you know, it's sometimes you do things for your loved one. And I told her, if this doesn't prove I love you, nothing will, because I'm like, you go one little shop and then a little shop and then a little shop, and you come back to the first shop you were in because that's where she found what she wanted. I will like it. I will like it. I'm trying to get that mindset. I like it, like it. Harmony, is that the restaurant? Really? Harmony? Never heard of it, huh? Okay, we will.
Place to go.
Anyway, again, Luke, I apologize. That sounded like a great conference, and I don't know, but I was thinking maybe I could have used that as an excuse to get out of Kenya, but I would have been paying for that later. That's all I had, and then we'll move on to city manager's report.
Yeah, mine is very short. I also want to thank everybody that contributed to the community garden and everybody that came out to make a really nice day happen. I encourage the folks from the public to help us maintain it. We are going to be getting 2 sheds that we will fill with tools and water hoses, et cetera. And really the intent is for anybody in the community to go out and help us maintain it and prune. And once those fruit trees really give off fruit, to go take what you need, basically. So again, just thank you, everybody. And I hope you all enjoy it. Just a couple of dates to get on people's calendar. You're going to hear me repeat these over and over until they happen. But April 20th, the car show downtown, 4th Street, so 1 to 4. If you plan to show your car and want to enter the the show, please register your car in time. We are looking at pre-registrations to help us plan and ensure we have enough space for everybody. So please register now. You can pick up a form to register or do it online. And then April 27th, a great groundbreaking at the site of our community center, 1 o'clock. Be there as well and help us celebrate this momentous occasion. And then June 1st, get that on your calendars, the up and coming wine festival. So staff will be very busy, but a lot of fun stuff. And we hope, we know that our partners are going to come and help us make all this happen. So we're excited for the events over the summer.
Cost to enter your vehicle in the car show?
The cost to enter is, and I have some registration forms if anybody needs one here. $40, I believe is the registration form. And then, bikes are $40 and $15 for bikes, I believe it is. Can't find bikes, but $40 if you, register now and $50 on site. But again, we encourage pre-registration to ensure that you will have a spot. If we fill up all the spots and you register on site, you might not get in. So we want to make sure we can accommodate, but that we plan accordingly.
And that'll happen all along Fourth Street, correct?
Correct. That's all I have.
Okay.
And Chief,
Anything else, from staff?
Yeah, Carmen wants me to mention the SPCA clinic we held on Saturday. So shout out to the SPCA for coming down their mobile clinic and co-sponsoring with us a low-cost vaccination for dogs. They were able to provide vaccinations, whatever the dog needed. $25 vaccination. They ended up vaccinating 100 animals. We were able to register a handful for new licensing for the city. And we'll be working on, in the near future, a spay and neuter clinic for dogs. So that's on the horizon. So that's all I have.
Great. Yeah, sadly. Anything else, chief? No, Jason, nothing? Okay. All right, then I entertain a motion for adjournment. So moved.
Second.
Second? Segundo. All in favor, signify by saying aye. We stand adjourned. Thank you.